Being honest, this is an iconic moment. After 25 years, fans of One Piece alike are flabbergasted, are shocked, are completely in a disarray because what the heck, Oda? Why do you do this to us? You drop bombshells after bombshells, especially after the long and grueling, agonizing month hiatus from One Piece. We are back to just absolute greatness from red-haired Shanks on the prow. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm even saying this right now. Like, the reunion we waited forever for is seemingly on the horizon, or depending on how Shanks rolls with it. Then on top of that, you got Greenbull going at it, going nuts. The reveal of his devil fruit powers, the world government in a disarray, and Sabo, y'all already knew it wasn't gonna happen the way they were playing it off. Sabo, oh my god, we've got to talk about it, people, and if you would so kindly do it with me, please, let's do this one together. Y'all ready for it? Y'all ready for it? It's time for that One Piece greatness! Drop a like if you are excited and ecstatic that One Piece is back. Because it is, and it's back with a vengeance. Let's talk.
No matter how you will get it done, no matter how you will get it done, no matter how you will get it done, no matter how you will get it done.
Okay, so I knew Oda was gonna come back and do something wild. I knew the boy was gonna come back and be like, yo, y'all favorite manga? It's here, baby. We here to kick some behind. But I didn't realize that Oda was gonna go full throttle. Then again, at the same time, I probably did, simply because we now know we are officially on the boat of, oh, One Piece is going to end, and Oda is actually trying to end it in 3 years. That's something that we got to start off with before we even get into the madness and whatnot, because it was revealed in an interview that I'll probably cover extensively in a future video. So definitely hit that subscribe button and that bell so you get notified when I read you guys the full, basically, conversation that Oda had with another fellow creator, Gosho Aoyama, the creator of Detective Conan, where he revealed that he wants to end One Piece in 3 years. He also recognizes that he said he wanted to do things quite often in the past of, yeah, I got 5 more years, so it might be off, but he's planning on ending it in 3 years. So you got to think that every single chapter, or damn near every single chapter, is going to be humongous, considering there's still so much One Piece story that needs to be told. There's still, despite the fact that we're 1,000 chapters deep, constant, huge revelations that need to go down from this story. There's so much richness that Oda has set up that, yeah, if we're going to end this in 3 years, I'm expecting that we're going to get constant banger after banger from everything that we need from this story. 3 years, I think he could get it done, though, especially when we're getting chapters like this. Dog, let's talk! Because off rip, the colored cover page in the return, seeing the new emperors, the 4 emperors with Buggy, that I am still here like, yo, he gotta be like working with the government, dog. He gotta be straight up and down on some Tekashi 6ix9ine type of vibe of, yo, he's with the government, because how? Shut your mouth! Fam, the last time we saw this dude, they were coming after him. They were ripping him down from being a warlord. So how he goes from, yeah, basically panicking, oh snap, they're coming for me, to he's the emperor of the seas now, or one of the 4. That just boggles my mind, but also so much in classic One Piece, because you got to think about it. There's a lot of Buggy-esque characters in One Piece. There's the Usops of the world that, you know, Usopp got people calling him God Sop at this particular point. There's a lot of these type of characters, but Buggy does it different. And when Buggy does it, he gets the cover colored page alongside other greats, because we also got Shanks, which rightfully so. And also, I'm gonna say off rip that Shanks being in this chapter, and now not only is it because things are starting to kick into high gear for the final saga, but also the big Shanks movie. And this is something, peep game, anytime a big film is coming of a manga, know this, that more than likely that character that they're pushing for the media and stuff like that is going to hit the manga right around release time. So in future references, they did this with Jujutsu Kaisen, when all of a sudden the film was about to come out, boom, one of the big important characters returns to the manga. Boom, the One Piece film, Red film, is about to come out with, you know, Shanks being the big guy. They're gonna have Shanks in the manga in future. Yeah, that's going to probably be the case, so keep an eye out for that. Then we got Blackbeard. Unfortunately, there wasn't much Blackbeard in this chapter, so it's cool to see him, but we didn't get him. And Luffy in that iconic Gear 5th just madness, laughing, and I loved it. I ain't gonna lie, off rip, that's, you want to grab attention, that's how you start a chapter, baby. And a lot of theories were floating around because the chapter opens up and you got Greenbull on the prow, and I ain't gonna lie, I look at Greenbull as he is probably one of the worst offenders of any of the admirals we've seen thus far. And there's been, like, you know, we had the films, even though people argue on the validity of whether or not Z is canon or whatnot, but we had like people like Z. Then of course you got the Akainus, the Aokijis, the Kizarus. Aokiji, we see where his heart lies. Dude said, I ain't with none of this stuff. After he took that L at the hands of Akainu, he went rogue. Kizaru, he's just, I don't want to say a clown, but dog doesn't really, you know, he's hilarious. He follows the protocol, but he's not really on that type of time to be, you know, pressed about certain issues. Akainu, of course, he moved up to Fleet Admiral, and Akainu is probably the source of the disgusting nature of Greenbull, because when he shows up, he's already walking towards, and you gotta have a lot of guts, dog. If you see the scabbards there, I would probably be a little worried, but clearly he has something to prove, and it's definitely something of, he's not as confident and secure as any of the previous admirals we've seen thus far. He clearly is saying throughout even the chapter that essentially he got something to prove, and he wants to get some validity, validation, so to speak, because he's, from what we've seen, somewhat of an Akainu fanboy, and that's where his morals and the way he feels and whatnot is disgusting, and he's a sorry excuse for a person, and that makes for a great villain at the same time. Like, by no means am I trying to say terrible written character. I'm saying he's written the way he's supposed to be written, and Oda made it that he's barely been in the manga, and I already can't stand him. I already think he's a terrible person in a good way of, like, yeah, we need garbage like that so that we could get riled up to say, I want to see this dude get put down immediately. And I wouldn't be surprised if after a certain point he would probably want to go up against Akainu or just replace him at some point, because he seems like he's desperate for influence. That's one of the things. It's like, yo, when you want influence, it's really difficult to get. But essentially he walks up to the scabbards, and again, I'm just kind of like, okay, I mean, granted, there has been a massive war on Wano, so everybody's going to be exhausted, but you've got some cojones, mate. I'll already give you that. And going back to what I was just saying about his morals, and as a person, he's just disgusting. He walks up, and the shit that he's talking about, he's completely sold into the whole ideology that was built and formed from the world government, where he's talking about the celestial dragons are gods, and basically, y'all, like, he looks at them as damn near, y'all have no rights, y'all not human. He's terrible. He's literally a product of the BS and the nastiness that we've seen from Akainu. And because he's in Wano, he feels like he has free reigns to do as he pleases. He's like, yo, y'all don't got no human rights, which again builds even further that dude needs to get KO'd ASAP. And he off rip just starts going into action. Oda was not playing, dog. He's like the groves of wrath, and he reveals that he ate the woods fruit, and he's a menace. Now, it's very, very interesting of how contradictory it is of his power that he has and his personality, because essentially his power to become damn near one with the woods, he even talked about, like, yo, the woods is all like one big Logia power for him, but yo, you being one with Mother Nature, but you're standing against everything that is Mother Nature, considering you're all for discrimination, you absolutely are fond of the idea of discriminating, like, you're a terrible freaking person, you're horrible. Basically, all jokes aside, he is full on a colonizer, because again, he's like, yo, you're not affiliated with us, you ain't under our wing, you ain't a part of the world government's plan, you don't have rights. And going back into the whole thing of he got something to prove, when he's talking about, yo, he don't care if he got to kill thousands of people, it's all he's going to do to get to Luffy. Yeah, he wants to take out Luffy because he wants to prove to the world government, as he stated at like the end of, I believe it was the last chapter before the break, of, yeah, I'm going to show Akainu and them, and he's going without direction. And that's one of the things that is going to be his ultimate downfall, because he is not clued in on everything, because he doesn't have all the information, as we see throughout the chapter of what is there, what is he facing. That's going to be his downfall. The fact that he's not prepared, the fact that he just jumped out the window and was like, I'm gonna show you. No, you're gonna get shown. Best to believe, buddy. And God, I already love, oh my God, being real, Yamato, dog. When Yamato just comes flying in off rip, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're in store for. This is why I would say, honestly, since probably, I don't even know how many years it will be, basically Yamato is the best addition to the Straw Hats since, I would say, probably Robin. Is that fair? I don't know. I like Frankie too, but ever since I want to say around there, like, don't get me wrong, the main ones, you know, up till about Brook, I was always fond of already because, hey, we've been with them since like the 300s or whatnot. But definitely I would say in terms of being a badass, in terms of the combatness, in terms of being the child of Kaido, off rip, that makes that this is an interesting one. But then just seeing when Yamato goes against an admiral, not even caring, I'm like, wow, we got a good one, folks. We got a good one. And it goes into what I'm saying of Greenbull's mistake, and his downfall is going to be his lack of information, because he's confused when Yamato's like, yo, it's me, I'm Yamato, son of Kaido. He's like, son of Kaido? When did Kaido have what? You don't have all the information, fam. It's like Sway, he don't got the answers. And then even after that, he's surprised by this pink dragon, which Momo, you still got a ways to go. Like, I guess that's a prime example of, you can have the look, you can have a lot of the aspects, but if you're not it, or you're not ready for that level, you're not ready for that level, because despite the fact that Momo, everything that just happened on Wano and whatnot, ultimately, and, you know, of course, being this big pink freaking dragon, when Momo goes to breathe a fire breath and nothing comes out but smoke, you're still not at that level yet. Just because you look like Odin, just because you kind of got the dragon form of Kaido, doesn't make you either of them. But you got to commend the heart, because even after that epic fail of no fire breath, just starts biting him. And I'm there like, yeah, I don't know how this is all going to play out, because Momo was basically instructing to even like Yamato, you cannot fight him. I'm like, well, what the hell you expect them to do then? Like, what's going to happen here? Like, so that's something that I'm a little bit like, how is it all going to play out? If they're desperately trying to keep this issue away from Luffy, everybody is injured or whatnot, how do you stop this monster here? Like, everybody's injured. And of course, in classic Oda fashion, he leaves us on a little bit of a cliffhanger there, because then we cut to something. That's the thing, though. If you're going to cut away from something as epic and amazing as that, then cut to something even grander, or at the very least on the same level. And we cut into something that is 25 years in the making, or at the very least the beginnings of something that is 25 years in the making, because nearby Wano, oh my god, we cut to, yeah, you read the chapter, Shanks's crew, and a lot of them are celebrating Luffy, and I love that about them. I love the fact that Shanks's crew is just, they the homies. They a bunch of just chill dudes. They a bunch of dudes that is just like, okay. And something that I was wondering off rip is, where they're talking, they say, oh, there's a weird one amongst the bunch, and I'm like, well, who is he talking about? Who are they talking about? I'm assuming they're talking about the Straw Hats, and are they referring to the fact that Brook is a skeleton, or what are they saying? Unless they're referring to that Yamato just joined, and they're not really sure about, you know, where Yamato comes from or whatnot. But that was something that I was kind of like, I wonder who they were referring to. And when they say, yo, let's go to him, Luffy's a great pirate now, because that's the whole end game, right? That's always been with Shanks, like, okay, I'm going to go see Luffy once he's at that level. Dog, he just took down 2 emperors, regardless of how it happened. Ultimately, he is that guy right now. He's on Shanks's level. They're putting him on emperor status. Like, yeah, he's a great pirate now. But I just keep it a buck with you. I personally feel like this is the point where we might actually start to see something that I've been theorizing and scared of, that Shanks might not be on the up and up. We've seen little inklings of it. We've seen certain aspects of, yo, dog, Shanks, you know, he ain't playing that stuff. He's rocking with the world government and weird little secret meetings. What's up with him? But before we get into that, Shanks says, yo, I haven't been to Wano since I said goodbye to Odin. So that kind of made me question it. I mean, granted, obviously, if Shanks would have been to Wano, it would have been absolute war and chaos, because Kaido's been holding it down there, and that's probably why he hasn't been to Wano since then, because, like, yo, dog, you would have clashed with him, although him and Kaido didn't they clash prior to, like, Marineford, but probably wasn't in Wano, of course. And dog, Yasop, for starters, did he get a hair color change? Are the dreads now full black? Wasn't his dreads, like, blonde? Now they're black? I don't know if Oda changed it or whatever. I love that. I love those little changes, those little aesthetic mixtures that Oda be doing. Like, yeah, why not? You know, he's changing up the dreads a lot. People do it. And a little bit of build up for other aspects, where they're like, yo, when we catch that kid, you know, that dude Kid, after all that smack, he was trying to pick a fight with us. Kid, you've started a lot of problems, lad. You're gonna have some issues. And Shanks sees Luffy's new wanted poster, and it was nice to get that little flashback. Although, again, I'm gonna be honest, like I said at the top of this video, I feel like a lot of this is pushing forward to help cross-promote the upcoming film Red, because we got the flashback again of, you know, back when Shanks and Luffy, when Luffy was little and all that jazz. I feel like that's, not only, of course, it's important, we had a month break and all that jazz, maybe also it's for new readers, although I couldn't imagine, and If you are, please drop me a comment to let me know. Are you one of those people that you're jumping into One Piece now because Oda said you can jump in right now? Like, that would be a terrible mistake. At the very least, go watch some of the recap episodes of the anime, something. Don't just jump in here now. Oda said that because he gotta say that to keep on trying to grab new readers. Don't jump in here now. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's a terrible mistake. Go watch some of the stuff, or, I mean, honestly, you should read it all from the start, but if you don't want to invest all that time, you need to have some type of knowledge. That's just ridiculous. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but come on, dog. We're chapter 1054. And when Shanks said that he wasn't interested in seeing Luffy, that was another red flag. Hey, red flag. That was another red flag for me. Granted, there was a little more of an explanation. Essentially, Bartolomeo, who is kind of low-key riding under Luffy's flag, has been burning their flags and replacing them with Luffy. And Shanks is like, yo, how would that make me look after all of that? So essentially, we might have to get some type of warring between the two. Like, it might not be able to be all kumbaya because Bartolomeo, what he's done, but also, I'm gonna just keep it real, I feel like that is just an extra excuse that Shanks really probably doesn't rock with Luffy like that. In all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls a Chuck from Better Call Saul and says, listen, kid, I never cared about you a day in my life. Like, you never freaking know. The whole arm thing, there could be a million explanations as to why he did what he did. It could have been instinctually. It could have been like, this kid can't die just yet. Whatever it is, ultimately, it doesn't necessarily mean that he cared about Luffy at that point to save him. It could just be red flag. He needed to do that for the time being, but him making more excuses of, yo, now's not the time, and essentially that it has to be to a certain degree on some opposition now. Like, oh no, dog, Shanks, red flags. And honestly, if not the biggest moment, definitely one of the biggest moments is when Shanks says, yo, Beck, yo, it's time we make a move. Let's claim the One Piece. Now, that goes back to something I've asked for a million years now of why Shanks never tried to do a lot of these things. Why Shanks never tried to become Pirate King? Why Shanks never went after the One Piece? Why Shanks, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of questions, considering the fact that he rolled with Roger, so I'd imagine he'd have a lot more knowledge than the average person of, you know, X, Y, and Z. Why not go after those things? And why, now that Luffy has reached that level, do you want to go to it now? That is something where, do you envy Luffy? Do you look at, you know, this kid that has idolized you for a gajillion years as a threat now, and let me go jump in and do what I gotta do before it's too late? Or was it only because Luffy moved things that you couldn't move out the way that now you feel you could do it? Oh my god, if Oda does this and makes Shanks just look like a true to blue monster of, he only is doing this because, oh, thanks, you little guppy, you got the two dudes that I needed out the way, Big Mom and Kaido, so now I can make my move. That would be like disastrous. And granted, Shanks' whole crew, they look totally opposite. You know, they're all excited, like, yo, let's go see Luffy, this and that. But Shanks, he could even be playing his whole crew. Who knows? He could be the one red flag of his whole operation. Holy shit. And then Act 3 of the chapter, because if you think about it, there was 3 acts to this. The first one is, you know, Greenbull coming to Wano and attacking. Second act is seeing Shanks and whatever's about to go down. He's going after 25 freaking years of this manga. He's going to claim One Piece. Again, oddly enough, after Luffy got rid of your problems for you. And then Act 3, where the Navy headquarters and the world government are essentially having a meeting, and Oda! They're basically talking that, yo, the revolutionaries can't keep going unchecked. Essentially, you gotta think everything that was done post-Reverie, pre-Reverie, everything, it's a bad situation. But it's also giving us a little bit of an idea of the level of forces that they have at this particular point. Granted, it could be that they got their forces moving in a different direction. Mind you, the whole situation at Wano. But the fact that they say, well, we don't got the manpower essentially to send right now after the revolutionaries speaks volumes that the world government ain't as strong as they would lead you to believe. They have a lot of really strong people, but they don't have a lot of people. So it's like, yeah, Akainu is a beast, Kizaru's a beast, Greenbull's a beast. All of these people, they're massively strong, but they don't have a lot of people. So, you know, numbers do help. And apparently Sabo is now being claimed and called the Flame Emperor Sabo. So I just want to be clear about this, and if somebody want to chime in on this one, please do. Does that mean that Sabo is being considered like the 5th emperor, or they're just calling him like Sabo the Flame Emperor, but they're not going to put him in the same classification as the other 4? And granted, Sabo is on a whole other level because the other 4 are just like, yo, they're the most dangerous pirates of the seas. They're running shit. Luffy's flag has been posted a lot of places, which, thinking about it now, Oda even set up tiny things like Bartholomeo's fanboyism as a way to expand Luffy's flag, opposed to like, because realistically, the Straw Hats aren't going to be planting flags and doing all these dastardly deeds. Bartholomew going around burning Shanks' flags, putting Luffy's up and stuff like that, has been adding him more of, yo, territory. Now Luffy actually has territories and whatnot, even overtaking some of Shanks. But again, Sabo, what he did and what is explained in this chapter is at a whole different scale. Sabo essentially attacked the root of the problem, which is the world government. Because they go on to explain 800 years ago, the world government was formed, and of the 20 people that formed it, only one of the descendants was there at the Reverie, and that was Cobra, aka the king of Alabasta. And I'm gonna say it straight up and down, I think it's absolutely baloney that essentially Sabo killed Cobra. Hands down, I'm gonna call it. He is not dead by any means. This is a little plan that was cooked up. Vivi and Cobra are totally okay. They vanished essentially. They made it look like Cobra was killed by Sabo because this is a very power move. This is a power move because now it put Sabo in a whole different league. It put the revolutionaries in a different league because don't forget, it wasn't that long ago. Granted, it was years ago of us reading, but in the story, it wasn't that long ago that didn't the revolutionaries go and have a big bout with Blackbeard in them, and it seems like they took an L or whatnot. After these L's, now something like that puts them in a different stratosphere because essentially they're calling him the hero of the world, which also speaks volumes of the world government. You know, they run around like this and that and the third, but clearly the world hates them if the world is praising him as a hero for killing one of their own, quote unquote, which there's just been so much misinformation within the world of One Piece, because don't forget that it was reported because of Big News Morgan, or no, I think it was the world government that passed it along that Sabo was killed or whatnot, but in reality it's a whole different ball game, and it's even further than that because I'm not gonna believe that Sabo killed him and Vivi's missing. This is a plan that they concocted in order to make that power move. Also, it gave me Soge King vibes when we found out that hours before the Reverie, the revolutionaries attacked the Holy Land and burned their symbol, essentially claiming a declaration of war. It reminded me of when Luffy told him, yo, Soge King, burn down that flag. So a lot of elements, now that I think about it, oh my god, this almost is pretty much Oda doing a take 2 on Water 7 and Enies Lobby. Just think about it for a second. You go back, boom, Aokiji shows up, wrecks everybody, it's an insane threat. That's how Water 7 starts. Boom, Greenbull shows up, probably gonna wreck a lot of cats here. Boom, mentions of a flag being burnt down and a declaration of war. Luffy and them burning the flag. Is of course different times that this is happening because that was much later in the arc, but essentially we might be looking at the retake or the second take or just inspiration in general from his own work of the Water 7 Enies Lobby stuff. Also, oh my god, thank you that Kuma was free. Despite the fact that Fujitora and Greenbull fought with everything, the revolutionaries managed to free Kuma, which thank god, because I was sick to see. And I remember, oh my god, that was 4 years ago that chapter dropped where we saw Kuma in chains on the ground and shit like that. I remember my reaction. I was just distraught to see because, you know, Kuma was freaking amazing. The fact that he allowed Luffy and them to live, the fact that he stood by the ship all those years ago despite the fact that he was damn near nothing left, and then they turned him into a, oh my god, just I can't even imagine it right now. It's sick. So the fact that he was freed, I can't wait for him to come back with a vengeance. I don't know how they're gonna play it, but yeah, that needed to happen, and I'm glad it did. Again, just look at how many bombshells, and we just got back. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out, though, in terms of the power scaling, and I'm not talking about hands and all that stuff. I'm talking about the balance of power that the public are convinced that Sabo pulled a lot of these strings. So essentially, his influence might be even greater than that of Dragon. Since the start of the series, it was, yo, the Dragon, the revolutionary and whatnot. Depending on how it plays, I'd imagine that this was part of their grand plan. Probably Dragon wants to make it that Sabo is that way, because think about it, Dragon being the, you know, leader of the revolutionary and all that jazz, while it's made him, you know, a level of threat and he's one of the most wanted men in the world, ultimately it wasn't going to do what having the brothers, two brothers running this shit will do. And on top of that, Dragon is Luffy's father. So you add all of those things together, that now we got Flame Emperor Sabo and his brother, Monkey D. Luffy, one of the 4 emperors. 2 emperors right there. That changes everything, opposed to just Dragon being the sole face of the revolutionaries. But you also got to add in that, yeah, father, son, and brother are all huge. And when they mentioned that all of this happened during the king's return, that made me wonder, dog. That made me wonder, because we've seen I'm Sama. Also, Shanks was around that time. Imagine Shanks has been like the private king of all of this, or the son of the king, like... And the chapter ends off with Aka, you know, we know you scared, dog. We could see your heart beating through your chest, saying this is one hell of an era for me to be fleet admiral in, but I'm gonna crush them all. Anyone that comes in, I'm just there like, we gonna see, dog. The get back is gonna be something vicious. And honestly, the get back for One Piece returning with chapter 1054 was vicious. We just got bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. I mean, from Shanks' crew. Let's start asking the questions. 1, how is Greenbull gonna get put down? What is gonna happen there to take him down, considering Momo is telling Yamato stand back? They don't want Luffy to find out. Is it gonna be the Scabbard? I mean, granted, the Scabbards are injured, but there's 9 of them, dog. And if they combine and whatnot, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to take out this admiral, at the very least slow him down. And then maybe, well, Momo told Yamato not to jump in. How is that going to play out? Shanks, what's up with homie? Like, all of his crew is really excited about Luffy, and he's throwing these little passive excuses as to why, and even saying basically that they gotta be ops because of what Bartolomeo was doing. And on top of that, he's going after the One Piece. Do you feel a certain way that he waited to go after One Piece until after Kaido and Big Mom were conveniently removed from the situation? Almost as if, well, Buggy is... Yo, Buggy ain't doing shit. Luffy ain't gonna be a threat. He looks up to me too much. The only problem that he has is Blackbeard, and I don't think Shanks is scared of Blackbeard, just keeping it a buck, but he probably had a little fear in his heart of Kaido and Big Mom. So do you feel that it's too convenient? Is there red flags going off in your head about red-haired Shanks? And then Act 3, do you think Sabo really killed Cobra? Do I even gotta ask? Sabo ain't killed Cobra. Cobra is alive and well, and with Vivi, and they're hiding out. How is this all gonna play out? Just, oh my god! This was incredible. This was amazing, and this was that One Piece greatness. That's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy! Have an awesome day. Peace in. Yo, One Piece greatness. Oh, you should totally like, subscribe.
So just go to find